At this very moment, deep inside your brain, millions of neurons are making one decision. Am I safe? They've been making that decision every second of your life, long before you learned your first word, long before you formed your first memory. The strange part is that your brain can react almost the same way whether the danger is a tiger hidden in the grass or an email that simply says, "We need to talk." Why? Because your brain wasn't designed for the modern world. It was designed for survival. And survival is very different from happiness. Imagine you're walking through a forest 100,000 years ago. A bush suddenly moves. Maybe it's the wind. Maybe it's a predator. Your ancestors didn't survive because they always made the correct decision. They survived because they reacted quickly when something might have been dangerous. Those who assumed danger first and asked questions later were more likely to stay alive. That ancient strategy is still running today. At the center of this survival system is a network of brain structures that constantly evaluates potential threats. One of the most important is the amygdala, an almond-shaped structure deep within the temporal lobe. But despite its reputation, the amygdala doesn't work alone. It constantly exchanges information with the sensory cortex, the hippocampus, which provides memories and context, and the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning, reasoning, and self-control. Sometimes this system reacts before conscious thought fully catches up. That's why your heart can begin racing before you even understand what frightened you. Within seconds, your sympathetic nervous system activates. Your breathing speeds up, your pupils widen, blood flow shifts toward your muscles, adrenaline surges, cortisol follows. Your entire body prepares to fight, run, or freeze. For most of human history, this response was brilliant. The problem is that evolution moves slowly. Civilization moves fast. Your brain is still running software written for a world that no longer exists.
Today, most people will never face a predator in the wild. Yet millions experience fear every single day. Not because something wants to eat them, but because something might embarrass them. Giving a presentation, starting a business, changing careers, posting an opinion online, making an important phone call, having an uncomfortable conversation. From the brain's perspective, physical threats aren't the only things that matter. Throughout most of human evolution, social rejection could be just as dangerous. Being excluded from the group often meant fewer resources, less protection, and a much lower chance of survival. Modern neuroscience has shown that social rejection activates many of the same brain networks involved in processing physical pain. In other words, your brain treats belonging as something essential. So when your palms sweat before speaking in front of a crowd, your brain isn't broken. It's responding with an ancient survival system that evolved for a completely different world. This brings us to what many psychologists describe as the comfort zone. The comfort zone isn't a physical place, nor is it a specific part of the brain. It's a useful way of describing familiar patterns of behavior. Inside that zone, life feels predictable. Outside it, uncertainty increases, and uncertainty demands energy. Your brain is fundamentally a prediction machine. Every second, it tries to anticipate what will happen next. The more predictable your environment becomes, the less energy your brain has to spend processing it. That's why routines feel comfortable. Not because they're always good, because they're efficient. The remarkable thing is that your comfort zone can quietly shrink. Every time you avoid an uncomfortable situation, your brain learns that avoidance worked. Repeat that process often enough, and the boundary moves closer and closer. Without realizing it, people can spend years living inside an invisible cage built entirely from successful avoidance. Nothing terrible happened, but almost nothing new happened either.
Here's one of the most misunderstood facts about the human brain. Your brain doesn't actually care whether you become successful. It doesn't care whether you become wealthy, or admired, or fulfilled. Its first priority is much simpler: stay alive.
Those goals often overlap, but sometimes they point in opposite directions. Starting a company feels risky. Changing careers feels risky. Moving to another country feels risky. Falling in love feels risky. Publishing your work feels risky. Doing nothing often feels safe. But feeling safe and actually being safe are not the same thing. Research on regret has consistently found an interesting pattern. In the short term, people often regret actions they took, but over the long term, they tend to regret opportunities they never pursued. The fear of acting is immediate. The cost of inaction is delayed. And delayed threats are something evolution never became very good at detecting. Inflation, lost opportunities, relationships that slowly fade, dreams postponed for another year. These don't arrive like a tiger. They arrive quietly, one ordinary day at a time. Have you ever noticed how one criticism can outweigh 10 compliments? Or how a single mistake can erase the memory of dozens of successes? This isn't simply pessimism. It's something psychologists call the negativity bias. Your brain naturally gives more attention to potential danger than to potential reward. From an evolutionary perspective, this makes perfect sense. Ignoring a beautiful sunset carries almost no cost. Ignoring a predator could cost you your life. As a result, the brain evolved to remember danger exceptionally well. That same bias influences nearly everything around us today. News headlines, social media, political debates, financial decisions, even your own memories. Fear spreads faster than reassurance because your brain assumes negative information might contain something important for survival. Unfortunately, the modern world has become exceptionally good at exploiting that tendency. Does this mean fear should always be ignored? Not at all. Fear is information, but it isn't always accurate information. More than a century ago, psychologists Robert Yerkes and John Dodson described an important relationship between stress and performance. Too little challenge leads to boredom. Too much challenge overwhelms us. But somewhere in between lies the point where learning, adaptation, and performance are strongest. Many psychologists refer to this as the stretch zone. It's where new skills develop, where confidence slowly grows, where the brain forms new neural connections. Growth isn't comfortable, but it also isn't panic. It's manageable discomfort, the kind that teaches your brain something incredibly valuable. We did something difficult, and we survived. Perhaps the most encouraging discovery in neuroscience is this: fear circuits are not fixed. The human brain remains plastic throughout life. Every experience slightly reshapes the connections between neurons. When people repeatedly face feared situations in safe conditions, a principle used in exposure therapy, the brain gradually updates its predictions. The feared outcome becomes less likely. The alarm response becomes weaker, not because the world changed, because the brain's model of the world changed. This explains something many people misunderstand. Confidence rarely comes before action. Confidence usually appears after repeated evidence that action was survivable. You don't become fearless and then act. You act, and your brain slowly learns that fear was overestimating the danger. From the inside, that's what courage actually feels like. Imagine two futures. In the first, fear wins every small argument. You don't send the email, you don't ask the question, you don't apply for the opportunity, you don't create. Nothing dramatic happens. Life simply becomes smaller. In the second future, fear still exists. Your heart still races, your hands may still shake. But every time you take one small step forward, your brain collects new evidence. I survived. Again, and again, and again. Eventually, what once felt impossible becomes ordinary, not because fear disappeared, because reality kept proving it wrong. Thousands of years ago, fear kept our ancestors alive. Today, it still protects us from genuine danger, but it also warns us about situations that no longer threaten our survival. It tells us uncertainty is catastrophe,
That embarrassment is disaster. That change is danger. Sometimes it's right. Often, it's simply ancient software trying to solve modern problems. Your brain will always generate fear. That isn't the question. The real question is this: when fear speaks, who gets the final decision? The oldest part of your brain or the newest? Fear is one of evolution's greatest inventions. Wisdom is knowing when to listen and when to keep moving anyway. If you enjoyed this documentary, please subscribe to our channel and share it with your friends.